Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some curry goat and coleslaw for dinner. So let's get started. I have the goat here that was rinsed with cool water and vinegar. And I trimmed off the excess fat, but I left some because you know fat is flavor. Can't get rid of all of it. So first thing we're going to do is season. I'll do a video later on for my green seasoning. So depending on how much salt is in your all-purpose seasoning, you'll want to add or leave out salt. If you know the seasoning is already very salty, don't bother to add any extra salt. So this is going to marinate overnight ideally. It's best to marinate this overnight. Right, so everything is all rubbed in here. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator, leave it overnight. Alright, time to cook. So we have a Dutch pot here over a medium to high heat. We're gonna add some oil. And the goat does have a lot of oil, so you don't need to add a whole lot of oil in the pan. And we're gonna be cooking the curry. Jamaicans might say burn the curry, but we don't really mean to char it, burn it till it black, right? We just mean cook it in a little oil to release all those flavors. You're gonna get that nice smell of curry in the kitchen right now. So just cook it for a few minutes and keep stirring. And once you've cooked it enough, then you are going to be adding the goat. So make sure that the heat is not too low, guys, because remember the goat was in the fridge. So if you add that cold goat to the pot and the pot is not hot enough, then you're going to get a lot of water coming from the goat and then it's not going to sear. Right now we want to sear the outside of it. We don't want it to be boiling or simmering in water. So right now I am daintily putting the goat in the pot. So, of course, I'm having a little struggle. So instead of the dainty placement, I just put everything in the pot. So make sure you move everything around, and what you're trying to do now is just to sear the outside of the goat. We're not doing a brown stew, so we don't need the goat to be very brown, like a dark brown. You're just trying to sear the outside to seal in that nice flavor before you add the water. So after you've seared one side of the goat, just flip over all of those pieces. Just want to make sure everybody gets some heat and some oil. So just turn them over if they need to be flipped over so that the outside is seared completely. Alright, so when you see that most of it has been seared, you can stir it around. Kind of like you're doing a stir fry. You want everything to get coated with the oil. So now I'm going to be adding some diced onions and some freshly diced garlic. So mix that around just like a stir fry because you want the onion to get cooked in whatever oil is in the pot. Alright, so once I see that the onion and the garlic has been cooked, I'm adding some chopped scallion and some fresh thyme. So what you do is you add some now and then it's gonna cook for a while and you add some more later on. So the water is gonna be poured in. I'm using some hot water just so that the pot doesn't cool down. Add hot water so you can just start simmering right away. So you're gonna bring this up to a boil and cover the pot. Let it simmer, guys. You can simmer it for about an hour and keep checking on it. But while it's simmering, let's start the coleslaw. So we have peppers, carrot, and cabbage here today. This is just a simple Jamaican style coleslaw. So with the cabbage, you want to cut out the hard part of it. You don't want that part in the coleslaw, so just take that out. And then your goal now is just to shred the cabbage. So some people use a grater, but you can also use a knife. So what you're trying to do is get some very slim, skinny, thin pieces when you're doing this because it's gonna be served raw, so you want it to be very thin. So you can cut it like that. I've even seen some people cut the cabbage in their hands, but we're gonna do it on the cutting board today because that is safer. So if the cabbage is a bit too big, just cut it in half, put away the other piece, and keep slicing those thin pieces. Just gonna slow it down here so you can see the motion. Guys, if you're not confident with using a knife, honestly, you can use the shredding part of a grater. So another way people might cut up the cabbage is they might take off the leaves and then you just put them on the cutting board and cut it up thinly. That's another way of doing it. So I'm just cutting thin strips. That's another way. Alright, so all the cabbage has been cut up. So what you're going to do is rinse it in some cold water with just a little bit of salt, not a lot, and just keep it in that cold water. Alright, so we're going to be using some sweet peppers in the coleslaw as well. I'm just flattening the pepper so that it's easier to cut. We're gonna cut thin strips. I'm using two colors just for, the appearance of the coleslaw, but if you only have one color, that's fine. It's just to add a little bit more flavor and a little bit more color. Alright, so pepper is all cut up and ready to go. So now we just need to focus on the carrot. So the carrot was just peeled and I cut off the ends. You can use a mandolin if you have one. If not, just use a grater. I sometimes use the medium shred side, or I use the fine shreds. You just want to make sure that you shred the carrot, basically. This coleslaw is really easy to make, guys. Alright, so now we're just going to make a quick dressing. We're adding some vinegar in the bowl, and then we're going to be adding some sugar. You want to add the sugar so that the flavor is balanced. You don't want it to be too sour. And of course, to balance everything out, you need to add some pepper and salt. Not a lot. And then just whisk everything together. We're not using any oil. It's a really simple dressing. Alright, so we had the cabbage rinsed and drained. That cool water, we drained it off. So now we're just going to be adding all of those ingredients. The shredded carrot, the sliced peppers, and then you will add the dressing. Now there are some people that add mayonnaise at this stage as well, so you can add this dressing, and then if you want the coleslaw to be creamier, just add in a little mayonnaise and add it at an amount that you're comfortable with. That's literally the next step that's needed right now if you want to make that creamy coleslaw. And then you just keep it refrigerated. Alright, so I'm just checking on the goat. So you want to check it to see how tender it is, and if it needs to cook a little more, if the water has dried out a little bit, just add some more warm water to it if needed, and cover, let it cook some more, and then you'll just check it again. Just want to keep your eyes on it, but we're not using the pressure cooker today, so you can expect it to be a little bit on the harder side after an hour still. Just keep it simmering on the stove until it gets tender. Okay, so at this point I'm adding some carrot and the scotch bonnet pepper. The carrot is optional. Some people add potatoes at this point too to add some thickness to the gravy. Both potatoes and carrots are optional, but you can add them at this stage because right now it's almost done. You just want to cook it for a few more minutes. All right, so now we're getting somewhere with the gravy. It's not as thin as it was before, and the goat is tender. All right, I think we're good to go, guys. So I had some rice that I cooked before and the coleslaw, of course, on the side. So now I'm just adding that nice curry goat with that juicy meat and that nice gravy. Honestly, this is so delicious. And guys, this is very easy to make. It just takes some time and some love if you're not using the pressure cooker, but it's not that hard. Just let it simmer and you're good to go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please remember to subscribe.